Hi guys, I'm back again today with another video, and today we are checking out how rich food and wine can help you stay healthy. Well, and then it says here, French women don't get fat. Well, starting today, I'm going to follow this diet because first and foremost, I love cheese, bread, and I don't drink, but I like butter, so I'm here for it. Okay, because my body, I told you guys this. My body is like weird because when I see food, I gain weight. I just look at it and then I gain like 20 kilos, right? So it's really hard to love eating and stay as you are instead of like ballooning. So I'm going to take this to heart and see what we can do. But the problem is the products that are being sold here obviously have those chemicals that, is not good for us. So I don't know how we're gonna figure it out, but we'll see. Before we do start, don't forget to subscribe, click the bell button, and let's begin.
How's this for a diet? Fat? Okay. Red meat? Not a problem. Cheese and cakes? You can eat them to your heart's content.
Oh,
And it
that's
gets
my
even
language.
better. Fancy a glass or two of wine to wash it down? Go ahead. It's good for you. It's fun and it works. It's why French women don't get fat. Of course, this dream diet has been around for centuries. It's known as the French paradox and it defies all logic. How come they thrive on all that rich food and wine and have lower rates of obesity and heart disease than we do? Well, being French, you can bet style has something to do with it. Take a deep breath and relax. Pause and enjoy the view. For this is a diet story with a difference. We're in a small village in France, it's market day, and lunch is on our mind.
Now in Australia, we're always told don't eat the skin of the chicken, and look at all
Oh,
the
I
butter
love
this
the
man's
skin.
sitting on.
That's the best part. That's the best part.
My gastronomic guide is William Page. Originally from Adelaide, this chef has lived in France for the last 13 years. He's been awarded a prestigious Michelin hat, the ultimate symbol of acceptance here.
You wouldn't eat it like that,
You
though,
bet I
would you?
would. Oh yeah, for sure. Lots of mashed potatoes with it.
But to soak up the butter.
Yeah. Well, that crunchy bit. That's what it's about.
As we all know, the French love to thumb their nose at convention. Here they've made political incorrectness an art form. So, for instance, if the common wisdom is butter is bad, then the French will eat more butter. They feel absolutely no guilt eating, drinking, whatever they want. It's an incredibly liberating way to live, and infuriatingly for the rest of us who spend most of our lives concerned by what we consume, it seems to be healthy. There's hardly a fatty to be found in France, despite their high-fat diet. And this is the French paradox. Their incidence of heart disease is one of the lowest in the world. They have half our rate of obesity, yet they have one of the richest diets on the planet.
We don't like, low fat, low this, sugarless this, because it doesn't taste good. I mean, butter is not something that's bad for you. Chocolate is not something that's bad for you. Eating, duck fat is not bad for you, but not if you have it, of course, 3 times a day and the way many countries eat, mega portions. Ooh.
As president of the champagne house Veuve Clicquot, Mireille Giuliano knows a thing or two about indulgence.
So you see the reason you don't gulp down champagne, because all the drama is in a glass.
The elegant Madame Giuliano is also the author of the extremely successful book French Women Don't Get Fat. So why don't French women get fat?
Because they eat for pleasure, and they eat with their 5 senses.
So no counting calories.
That's boring.
All too often, like in America, we judge the quality of our food by quantity and by how quickly we get it and how fast we can eat it. But in France, it's all about quality. They even have food police patrolling cheese shops and delicatessens. Anywhere there's food, there are fines and loss of licence for poor quality products.
Cooking for us is very sensual. So we take, pride in what we prepare. Cooking is an act of love, as opposed to many countries where cooking is a chore.
It's going to be a ravioli truffle with wild mushroom cream. That's what I'm going to do here. So we're going to get that
Cream again.
Yeah, well,
So basically, what I'm getting from this is I have to make my own food to stay fit. Because obviously, McDonald's is not gonna do it for me. Like they're not gonna cook with love. They're gonna cook for capitalism, right? For like most places. I mean, there's gonna be restaurants here and there, like a bougie ones that they cook for love of capitalism. I don't know, but still they actually like use organic ingredients or like good ingredients, like authentic, not chemical. So I think there's a few restaurants here and there that we can go to, but for the most part, I'm getting like go to the market, get your goods, and do it yourself. Well, that's a workout, and okay, I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna make excuses because that is where we all fail, is making excuses. If you want a result, you have to do it and stop making excuses, Rookie. Okay, okay.
yes and no. Yeah. You just so happen to fall upon this particular dish.
What is this?
In the kitchen of William Page's restaurant, lunch is on the menu. It's like this every day. In France, the midday meal is rarely a grab-and-run affair. Much more, it's an affair to remember.
France closes down between midday and 2 o'clock every day. All the businesses, all the commerce, everything's closed. And so they generally go home to eat, or they eat in a restaurant or whatever. But yeah, everybody eats lunch, like a real sit-down lunch.
So not like a sandwich that we might
Not at all.
For the French, a long lunch could well mean a long life. Taking your time is good for you. More courses mean more variety. And a satisfied stomach means no snacking.
I think how they eat is very healthy. I know I lost weight when I came to France.
We eat slowly, we take the time, we put our fork and knife down between bites. Actually, what it does is that
I'm gonna try to eat like without my phone. Because when I'm like in front of my phone and I'm watching something, I just inhale the food and I'm done. So maybe I should like take my time, leave my phone in my room and then eat. Yeah, I have to change my habits, really.
if you eat slowly and not in a stressful situation, your taste buds will be satisfied after a few bites, so you don't need to eat much.
With oyster and, of course, in France, with butter.
It's a wonderful only in France moment, where a restaurant is this doctor's laboratory and lunch his experiment.
They put butter and they put cream on everything they eat.
Cardiologist Michel Delogeral is one of two men who discovered the French paradox.
And are snails good for you?
Yes, very good.
His explanation is that the bad things in the diet, the saturated fats, red meat, butter and cream, are cancelled out by the good things, the variety and the freshness of the food. But the key is drinking. Wine is the real lifesaver.
And so every lunchtime you have some wine?
Yeah, that is typically French. We have all the time a bottle of wine open. The way of drinking of the French is chronic drinking every day, and moderate drinking.
Can I substitute that for something?
This is rare medical advice, but science has confirmed what's long been suspected. People who drink a couple of glasses of wine every day live longer than those who don't drink at all. Alcohol also protects those who've had heart attacks.
In our studies, in patients with established coronary heart disease, 2 to 4 drinks were associated with a 50% reduction of the risk of recurrence
So drink moderately and you halve the risk of having a second heart attack.
Yes, exactly. This is scientifically demonstrated.
1 or 2 glasses of alcohol per day probably in most people protects your heart, may protect against stroke, and there's evidence that it may protect against dementia. So why not tell the good news? I think it's important to tell the good news about alcohol or wine particularly, and a glass of beer occasionally, and not
Can somebody tell me what particular substance, or how do you call it, like chemical in the wine is giving us this like anti stroke heart attack situation, so that maybe I can substitute it for something else, like maybe a coffee. I think coffee is closely to like a wine. I think they're close enough. Like they kind of have similar, I think. I'm not sure, but I think so.
uh, alcohol or wine particularly, and a glass of beer occasionally, and not be afraid to tell the truth. That's the truth.
Brisbane cardiologist David Cahoon says Australians should pay close attention to the French way of living and eating.
A lot of the food that you hear about is food that is on the surface not very healthy, but there's other things they add to the food. So it's the total blend, you see. So when they have their fatty meal, a lot of the time they have cheese. Cheese modified or fermented milk is actually not dangerous. Grape juice, which is fermented wine, not dangerous, positively healthy.
So is it the process of fermentation?
At this place, the menu changes every day. Today there are 2 starters, tomato salad, fresh vegetables, and then poached fish, followed by San Polana, special soft cheese, and then fruit for dessert. But to book a table here, you have to be a toddler. At this crèche, like most in France, lunch is 4 courses. But this being France, it's much more than just about the eating. It's also about educating the palate.
Certainly it's the lifestyle, it's not the genes, it's not genetics. And we've seen that in one study after another, that culture is very important, and a big part of culture is what you eat.
While the French thrive on ignoring dietary convention, our fixation with it grows.
The zone diet, the Callaway diet, this orgasmic diet, the healing diet, the Hawaiian diet, don't diet, Eskimo, it goes on and on and on.
And what's the craziest diet you've heard of?
The craziest diet is the Hallelujah diet, actually.
What is that?
The Australian paradox is the greater our obsession with losing weight, the more we pile on.
I feel like this is the best diet I've heard about so far, because everything is just like do not eat this, that, that. They would give you like 20 million restrictions of not to eat. And I'm just like, life is too short for me to close my mouth and watch those things. Like, you cannot tell me I cannot have a pizza. Like, you're crazy. Because what if today's your last day on earth and you don't want me to eat a pizza? Like, are you crazy? So I'm believing the French, okay? The French diet is my cup of tea, and that's what I'm following, okay? Because if they're telling me I can eat cheese, like who should I listen to? Of course, the person who says eat cheese, right? So yeah. I feel like our food situation here in the Philippines, like our diet or the cultural way of that we eat, is so bad. That's why everybody's just like so. We're not big necessarily, but you see people with big stomachs a lot, because I feel like genetically, like, Filipinos are just like small, but then you would see them with like big bellies because we don't necessarily go fat in other areas. It's just the stomach just starts to grow like we're pregnant. So yeah, the way that we eat is crazy. Like, okay, this is how the food situation is, right? You wake up, you have coffee and bread, okay? And then you will have breakfast, which includes maybe like noodles or rice, and then sausage, eggs, or ham. And then you will have lunch, okay? Rice again, and then some sort of vegetable, meat. And then you have merienda, which is like maybe coffee or soda, maybe a burger, a pasta, and then you will have like another merienda before dinner, which is usually like rice cakes or like fried food, right? Or street food. And then you will have your dinner. So we have meals 6 times a day. Now tell me why we're not gonna get fat. And then we don't cycle to nowhere because there's nowhere to cycle. So we're not like Netherlands. So yeah, nobody like only few people who are conscious go to the gym. So yeah, our population is just nah. You will see like skinny people, but then their belly's like whoop, I don't know. So we have to change our eating habits. Like who the fudge eats 6 times a day? Right? 6 times a day.
Portion sizes are getting bigger. And we're all tuned to eat what's on our plate. You know, you got to eat what's on your plate. As portions get bigger, people eat more. And we're just over-consuming. That's it. The key thing about eating is to enjoy what you're eating, but when you've eaten enough, don't eat any more. Be satisfied. That's a key thing. And don't snack.
Okay, I won't.
That's my problem.
Do you ever snack?
Rarely, because again, when you have your 3 meals, you really don't have reasons to snack.
Do you ever drink soft drink?
No,
Never.
no, not good. All this sugar, and it's not appealing for me.
Yeah, me too. Like soda and Rookie doesn't go well together. She almost died. Yes, I literally almost died because of soft drinks or soda, however you call it. So after that trauma, it I stopped. I I do drink soda like once in a blue moon, but it's not something that I look for. And if I can avoid it, I will. Like if I am in the desert and there's only soda, obviously I'm gonna drink it. But like if it's not necessarily and there's other options, definitely. I would rather go for water most of the time. Like water is my go-to, and then tea, and then obviously coffee. Like coffee is my go-to when I'm sleepy or tired, but water and tea are like the ones. A freaking soda. Even juice I can't do juice if it's not like fresh, if it's like those powdered ones or
No, not good. All this sugar, and it's not appealing for me. You know, basically, I have coffee or tea or water and wine. I would have the chocolate marquise because it's a mousse with a vanilla brûlée center. That sounds good to me.
While something
And would you
sweet is
eat
always on
this
Marae's menu,
eating
it
paper?
never makes it to her
It's
hips.
nice. I love espresso ice cream.
Not only do French women not get fat, they don't even break into a sweat.
French women don't jog. This is very bad for your joint. You know, we'd rather do things that give us pleasure, and
true.
walking gives us great pleasure.
Is there a French word for guilt? Does it exist?
No, actually, I mentioned in the book that, you know, sometimes I go to a restaurant in New York or in America and I ordered a dessert, and the waiter would come and say, "Oh, this is sinfully delicious." And to me, why is it sinfully? I mean, you know, it's a dessert and I don't have it every day, and why should it be sinfully? It's just very delicious.
Back in Australia, David Cahoon is doing a long-term study on the effects of diet on heart patients. He prefers a variation to the French paradox, the Mediterranean diet. Replace the butter and red meats with olive oil and fish, but keep the daily wine. His patients are losing up to 8 kilos a year. And is it protecting them from further heart attacks?
Well, the evidence from 2 big trials is that heart attacks may be reduced by more than 50% simply by modifying the diet. Very simple.
The French are considered the most pleasure-driven people on earth. So even if we don't like their rich food, perhaps we can learn from their attitude. C'est la vie. Stop the diet obsession, concentrate on common sense, and quite literally, eat to your heart's content. Is obsession the reason why so much of the world is now battling the bulge?
Oh, I think so, yes. And the result is that your body takes revenge and then people binge. I mean, it's that simple. Whereas if you have it a few times a week, or you choose your moment to have it and you eat slowly and you have less, well, you can have your cake and eat it too.
Hello, I'm Tom Steinford. Thanks for watching 60 Minutes Australia. Subscribe to our channel now for minute segment as well as
I like that. I like that mentality. That is definitely for me. I knew it. Sometimes when I watch this video, I'm like, Rookie, you were born in the wrong country. Like, come on. What are you doing? Um, I'm gonna adopt this. Okay? I'm gonna make like small portion. I'm gonna eat more often. I'm gonna make it myself and I'm gonna savor it with no like I'm just gonna like stare into the food. I was gonna say I'm gonna make love with the food. It sounds weird, but like with my eyes, right? I'm just gonna like instead of watching my phone, I'm just gonna like I know somebody who eats like that actually. We always tease my friend, like, oh, you are definitely like interlocked with your food. But yeah, that is so beautiful. So beautiful. So it means I can have more cheese. I can have my mac and cheese. I mean, not the one, like not the craft one, but I can make it, and I can have my carbonaras. Oh, me and pasta and bread. Oh, we can reunite, and nobody's gonna judge. Okay, I feel like somebody understands me, and it's the French. You know what? Europe in general. I told you. I should have been born in Europe. Maybe God was like, yo, we don't want to give you everything in the world. We don't want to make life easy for you, so let's make you not European. Because if it's too good, like if you get everything you want in life, that is not life. So they're like, nah, you're gonna be Asian, African who loves cheese and pasta and pizza. How about that? Well, I accept. Anyways, beautiful peeps, thank you for suggesting this video. This has been super fun, and I will see you in our next video. Bye.